video is going to be about succession in berries. This is a silverberry. Today's Earth Day, 2020. And this silverberry plant flowered in November, December of 2019. Just finishing its berries off now. So it's the last plant to flower of the previous year for me, and the first plant to fruit in the next year. Give this tasty little berry. It's very tasty. It has a large seed, so there's not a lot of fruit to it. It's bright red. You see the size of that seed. The skin with all the speckles on it can be a little bit tart. So there's a silverberry here. That's a nitrogen fixing berry, bush. There's a fig in between it, but we're talking about berries. Next to that is a gummy berry. The gummy berry will be slightly behind that. That'll be the next bush-sized berry to fruit for me. We also have canes. This is a blackberry that's been cut back. So I have a blackberry here before too long. Some of the flowers getting ready on that. Right now we've got some yellow and red fall-bearing raspberries we'll look at around the yard. That also give you a spring harvest if you don't cut them back to the ground. So we're looking at that silverberry over there, which is the last to flower of the following year, and the first berry of the succeeding year. And then there's fall-bearing raspberries like these. This one's a yellow one. These will give me a new cane this year. That'll give me fall berries. But last year's cane, coming from that same crown, fruited till there last year when our first frost came, and then it stopped producing berries. So I pruned it there, and now we'll get spring berries out of this. That'll be the second berry, a yellow raspberry, giving us spring berries, and then later again fall berries. In between that, we'll have a red raspberry, which is a summer-bearing variety of berry. So there's fall-bearing, which is also called ever-bearing. And a summer-bearing. See, these are pretty far along. Not as far as the yellow raspberry was. So this will be after the yellow raspberry. So we had the silverberry, the yellow raspberry. That gummy berry should be ready about then. These black raspberries right along in that same time period, going into summer. There's also 3 seasons of blueberries. Early, mid, and late. Earlies are getting close to being ripe. April 21st. These are a Josta berry. The Josta berry will finish after the gooseberry over here. Later will be this autumn olive, which is just flowering now. It says olive, it's a berry. See, these gooseberries are getting pretty close. That'll be a few more weeks. This Ariona berry. There's a service berry up there. They'll be closer to fall. The Ariona will. The service berry's coming in now. Here's the wineberry. This will be between the leftover raspberries from the fall bearing and the summer bearing raspberry. We'll have the wine berries. These are the gummy berries. I was picking those up. Little flowers there. But this will just be loaded with berries. That's a nitrogen fixing berry. So we got the silverberry. The leftover fall bearing raspberries will give spring berries. The gummy berry. The wine berry. The autumn olive. The gooseberry. The josta berry. The summer bearing raspberries. The blackberries would have been before that. And the fall bearing raspberries. Mixed in, we have multiple varieties of strawberry, everbearing and June bearing. We'll look at a bed of those as well. I mentioned the elderberries, 3 varieties of the elderberries on the property. This is a gold brie elderberry. It's the first year here. It's flowering right now. I believe that gives us a golden elderberry. It's a mulberry. Almost consider it more of a fruit tree, but it gets the berries. It's got young berries on it now. Some strawberries here. As you mentioned with the gooseberries, the josta berries, there's a currant, we'll go look at that. I've got multiple varieties, so they're flowering at different times. This josta is just flowering now. And I almost forgot about the goji berry. Started flowering about a month ago. It's loaded with bees, if you're hearing them. There's another gooseberry down there. Strawberries mixed in. Honeyberries. Similar to a blueberry, it's in the honeysuckle family. It's flowering right now. It's the other European elderberry over there. It's got a flower on it as well. So this is one of many strawberry beds we have. Kind of amazed at how far along the strawberries are this year. Our last frost was just a couple days ago. It's April 21st. And I had my first strawberry today. But I think the reason I was able to eat that first strawberry is because it was hanging right there with those on that concrete, collecting that heat. Planting in microclimates, whole nother conversation. Hinamaki yellow. We've got a Hinamaki red as well. This is a jewel. Those are gooseberries. And this is the currant. Those are the berries there. So you have a currant and a gooseberry. The currant has no thorns. The gooseberry has thorns. Then you have a josta berry, which is a cross of the two, and it has no thorns. So they're in the same little family. These are yellow raspberry. So this bed of yellow raspberries I took care of different, and I did that patch over there. So when we're talking about the fall bearing raspberries, we can get just the fall harvest. These new canes come up. I've cut last year's canes off very close to the ground, taking any of the energy that would have been put into spring berries in those and put that back into this fall's harvest. So these canes will have more energy, come up and give me a really good harvest of fall raspberries. Another way to manage that type of berry, that fall bearing or ever bearing raspberry, is these here. There's this year's cane, which is much smaller than the ones we just looked at, because some of that energy is still being used here to take over fruiting, where last year's cane stopped when the first frost came, and I pruned it off there. So that'll give us spring yellow raspberries and red raspberries, fall raspberries, a better crop of fall raspberries when we manage it that way, strawberries all summer long, gooseberries later in spring and into the summer, into late summer. So the first one on this little bad guy. So gooseberries through a good part of the summer, late spring and summer. The summer bearing raspberries, jostaberries, gooseberries, currants, elderberries, service berries, gummy berries. Help me out here, what am I forgetting? But that's just the berries on the property, mulberries. That's not including the cherries, the apples, the figs, the pears, the Asian pears, the jujubes, the peaches, the Nanking cherries, the Cornelian cherries, then we get into nuts, a variety of hazelnuts, bush hazelnuts, surrounded by quite a few oak trees and black walnuts. So I think I'll end there, showing along with our annual gardens and the high intensity annual gardening, mixed in and around in our food forest. We have a ton of variety of berries. And those berries, like their flowers and the perennial flowers mixed around them, are designed to fruit throughout the year in succession, giving us a diversity of fresh fruit throughout the year to put away and store when it's ripe. And to call on the insects and the animals, feeding them throughout the year. I hope you'd enjoyed this video on Phat Ninja Farm berries. This is Phat Ninja Farm. It's now a 7-year-old permaculture designed food forest in the city of Asheville, North Carolina. Please like and share. We're trying to inspire others. We've been inspired by the changes we've seen here, by the changes we have seen here. It's beyond our expectations. It happened fast. Peace. Be kind to one another. Change can be better than a holiday, especially if you're eating berries for months of the year. And throughout the winter as you're eating the jams and berries that are put away in the freezer. I just opened my last container of gummy berry jam. I've still got strawberry and mixed berries. So I'll end with that. we can find sustainability or come much closer to it in a small property, even like this half acre in the city. If we plant in guilds, plant in succession, and mimic nature. Peace.